We're gonna take this solar charger from this fence up here in the orchard and take it back to the horse fence. First thing I wanna do is turn it off. Like that. Yeah, it's off. Good. In order to take this to the back, I need to disconnect some things. We need to take the ground wire with the clip and all the wires attached to it because they're gonna be hooked up to the one in the back just a little differently. I don't have pliers with me, so let's see if I can get this off of here with these. Oh yeah, easy peasy. There we go. We're just gonna pull this out of here so we can easily move this. Just loosen that up. Pull that out. Now let's see. Oh, I don't know, that might not come out easy. This is probably 4 feet in the ground. We haven't had rain lately, so the ground should be fairly loose. It doesn't feel tight. Yeah, it is still kind of tight. Let me take this off of here to get it out of the way. I don't want to bend it. Oh, I might put a piece of wood under these, give me some leverage. Oh, that's tight. Ah, wait, okay. I'm gonna need some help. There it goes. Whew. Yeah, so that's a solid copper rod, so I didn't want to buy a new one. I could have just left it there maybe for a future fence here again, but hopefully with the horses being contained, I won't need a fence up here on the orchard. So there it is. That was what was giving me a big challenge. It was still wet down there in the bottom. That was sucking on it and holding it gripped, pulling it down into the ground. But a ground rod actually needs to be wet to work. If it was in perfectly dry ground all the way down, it would have been easy to pull out. It also wouldn't have been doing its job very well.
Good thing you have a tractor.
Tractor saved the day again. Oh hey, before we get busy with this, I want to show you something. In the last video, I put this gate together and you guys gave me some suggestions. Several of you made comment that my top hinge needed to be pointed downward so the horses don't lift the gate up with their nose. They get their nose under there and they lift the gate up. Well, that made perfect sense to me, so I fixed it. Thank you very much. Right here on this fence post is where we're going to place the solar charger. I can go ahead and just set that up here. Woo! Kind of close. This needs to be pointed toward the south, which is about there. And then we need to get these wires ready to go and plugged in to this fence. Now this fence, because it's a double tape, is going to be using a double wire. So the single charger, which is a 5-mile charger, it has plenty of charge to run this short piece of fence, even with two pieces of tape. This tape, if you don't know, is a vinyl, a poly tape, but it has little wires woven in it. That way it's more visible to the horse. It has more strands of wire. It's a little more effective and the horses can see it better. So right here we have one of these wires. We need to make sure it's good and tight. That says fence. That's this wire right here. And we're going to plug it into right here. This is going to go to both pieces of tape, but we're just going to take it off the back. And I'm just going to loosen that up. I'm going to wrap this wire right here. This is where it would be nice to have a pair of pliers. Okay, let's see if we can get that to work now. Just plug it on here. Now you might be asking, why don't you have pliers? And it's not because I'm lazy. It's because my son got a job where he had to take a toolbox and he took most of the tools. A lot of them were his anyway. And now I'm pretty sure I don't have a pair of pliers. I need to go invest in a pair of pliers. So I'm just going to use these scissors, the rubber end of these scissors, to hold that bolt head tight while I tighten up the little nut on the back. That feels pretty good. That's pretty tight. A little more awkward than pliers, but it worked. There we go. Both of these are tight now, plugged into the fence. I think I got it down far enough. Just gonna bring this up to where we can reach it. That clamp has to be tight because the contact has to be like biting into that copper. So that's how we just clamp it down real good. Right about there. And our ground wire, let's take it down this way. Just sliding that right down in there and pinching it real good with this screw right here. Make sure that contact is nice and tight. But we can't turn it on yet, because I have something else I need to do. Let's go up to some of the T-posts and I'll show you something we have to be concerned about so this works properly. All along this fence, I have these T-posts with these plastic insulators that hold the ribbon or the tape off the fence. Well, ideally I would have corner posts that are wooden, and I would have a different type of connection here. But I don't have that set up right now. Maybe in the future I'll come in and put a wooden post here on the two corners that have, you know, some tension going two ways. But for now, this is what I have, and I'm just going to insulate it with some rubber hose. Perfect. Perfect. You don't want that electricity going right down that pole into the ground, causing the rest of the fence to not be effective. It might still have a tiny charge, but not enough to mean anything to the horses. I just got back from the other end, the other corner way down there, and all three of the other pieces only needed a single hose because the other side is not touching metal and it's not even close. So this was the only one that I had to cut and do a double-sided thing. So now that the corners and everything's all insulated and in place and tightened up, all we got to do is turn it on. And it's hot. So we're going to test it just for fun. We're going to test the top and the bottom rung by touching it. Let's see if the top one works. Ready? Top one works. Bottom one works. If the tape ever gets loose, if the fence is ever loose, this is where I can tighten. I almost grabbed it. It's hot. But I can loosen this up and tighten this just in this little buckle, and then cinch that back down and pull the fence tight. One last thing. This doesn't have anything to do with the electric fence, but somebody made comment. In the last video I mentioned that once this is on here, the horses shouldn't be able to get that off. But sure as I say that, I am going to be making another video about how the horses got out. So we're going to get a clip. I don't have one right now. I looked in the shed. But we're just going to put a clip on the fence or the chain and just clip it on there. That'll double. That will ensure that the horses can't take this chain off the gate. A few details left in here. We need to get the water container in here. We need to get some things done in the barn, but the barn is not critical to getting horses back here. I just need to make sure that some of my tools and things are picked up to keep them safe, and also to have water containers available for them. And I think we're in good shape. We're just about ready to bring the horses back and use this area so that I can start planting trees back up front again, and just all those things that I've been avoiding doing because I have horses in the entire property running over trees, eating trees. Now I can start taking care of my trees and planting trees like I have wanted to all year long. If you liked this video, share it with your friends and family. There is no greater gift that you can give a video creator more than sharing their video. Sharing is caring, and I appreciate you guys being here. I'll talk to you soon.